There's a lot of memes in the chess community saying that the knight is a bit more alpha than the bishop. Now, today we are going to put this to the test in a bishop versus knight battle. But I'd just like to address some of these concerns, some of the differences between bishops and knights. See, I think I see why people say bishops are a bit lame because they're a bit more conformist in the way they move, whereas knights they go wherever they want. So maybe that's part of it. I've written down a few of the differences that we commonly hear. It's like knights are better in closed positions. Been taking notes for this video, guys. I hope you appreciate. Yeah, but the main difference I see, which I don't hear talked about, is like bishops have unlimited tempi. In endgames, they can just keep shuffling, whereas knights will get stuck defending one piece, and if you undermine it, then you can win the game. Obviously, bishops are longer range; they cover more squares. But knights, knights are quite tricky, and obviously forks. I think knights are better at lower levels, where you fork people all the time. But as soon as you rise up the levels, the bishop appears a lot better. Um, the bishop pair is amazing. Bishop pair clearly better than a knight pair. Um, Bishops are better in endgames, in my opinion. They can stop pawns running on both sides of the board, whereas the knight, if there's a pawn on both sides, the knight is just gonna have no hope there. But I think the coolest thing about the knight is that they attack from the sky. There's no blocking a knight jump. And what was it? One of these made me laugh. Yeah, a pawn would never promote to a bishop, but it might promote to a knight. So let's remove this image. Get into this game. Okay. All right, so I played this game 3200 level bot, and I put the knight structure like this. At first, I put the knights here, but then I realized on move one, the bishop would just take the knight in the corner. Oh, I mean that says a lot, But okay, let's get into the game. Let's get into what happened. So I set the knights up so they're in a bit more of a solid structure, and the 3200 bots played bishop out first move. Now, honestly, the first 10 moves, I didn't have a clue what was going on. I guess the knights are just trying to get more central, where they control more squares in the center of the board. I mean, it's very hard to analyze this position. And then the bishops are coming out. So the bishops actually control 7 squares, I think, here, but in the middle, they can control I think it's around 15 squares. I'm not going to count it. But yeah, bishops do control more squares if they're in the middle. So maybe that's something white wants to do. Is I guess move the bishops closer to the center, but then they might be in range of the knights. So it's a bit of a trade-off there for white. So the knight moves back. Now this looks horrible for black. And by the way, let me know in the comments, who do you think is going to win this? I had my predictions. I won't spoil it. And let me know also were your predictions correct. So the bishop now pinning. So this is one of the main strengths of the bishop. They can pin stuff, rendering this knight useless. Knight develops, bishop out. Just putting the bishop on a spot where it controls a lot of squares. Knight coming around, targeting this bad boy, so it slides back. So knight out, targeting this. So we take it off, and they recapture. Okay, struggling to analyze what's going on here, guys. A lot of knight jumps. This is some people's hell, I imagine. Trying to calculate all these jumps. But anyway, the bot just calmly develops another bishop, eyeing up some knights, and and then we get this, which is a very funny thing that you never actually see in chess: the double light square bishop battery, which is actually looking pretty lethal. Combined with this as well, we've got this crisscross thing, and here white claims a knight. They can recapture here, but we are winning a knight here as white. And now the poor black knights are on the back foot. Have they got this capture though? Can they take that? Why can't they take this? I'm not sure. Oh, because this knight is defending this knight. So if this, yeah, and there's no fork because anyway, let's not try and calculate this position. It's crazy. So king develops, and then bishop back again because the bishop was hit by the knight. All right. So now we've got this structure where the knights are slightly more centralized, all trying to cover up the king, who's under a lot of pressure. Bishop slides back, targeting this bad boy, and the knight desperately trying to hold the other knight. And it's just pinned central. It's horrible for the knights, honestly. And the knights would like to fork, but most of these squares are like covered by the bishops. And this is like the power of the bishop pair when they're working together like this. They just cut off so much of the board. So the knights do get in a check. King slides over, and it's looking like these pins are going to pay off for the bishops. And this is the first point in the game. I was playing versus the computer, and I was using the computer's hints as my moves. This is the first point in the game I thought started to get some understanding of the position. It was so complicated before this, but I thought maybe a king up somewhere around here was good. But takes, check, and then king up, targeting this knight. And really, I thought about this move because maybe these two knights are holding each other together. So if you can start putting pressure on them, maybe. Knight jumps back. And then look at this bishop here, controlling so much of the board. Knight develops. Now we've got a lot of pressure here, and we can just take... Yeah, black's just running out of moves here. And giving up. Oh no, that is a trade. But why can't they take here? So, two knights taken. Why can this knight not recapture? Because of check winning it anyway. It's just brutal. So the king tries to hold both knights together, and now there is just so much pressure. This is pinned. We can take, removing the defender, and then take this. Oh, he does it the other way around. Actually, the engine, instead of doing that, the sort of human tactic of removing the defender, the engine just says, look, black, you're in Zutzwang. You have no moves. You can't move the knight, it's pinned. So you have to move the king. And again, coming back to my earlier point about bishops, unlimited tempi. So this is one of the good things about them in the end game. They can just shuffle back and forth, whereas the knight cannot. Or should I say the bishop can shuffle back and forth and maintain defense, whereas the knight cannot. And here we have three bishops against the knight, and gradually white just starts coming up with the king, putting the black king in a sad little corner. This is just disgusting. So I know that was a bit of a silly video. I know, it's like a cannon, right? In an army of just cannons isn't very useful, but an army of soldiers with the odd cannon is useful. Everything needs to be balanced, and I realize this full knights versus fully bishops does lack balance, but I think it also does show that bishops probably are slightly better than knights. Sorry, knight gang. Sorry.